Greg. Reds and the Cardinals. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Let's take a look at Tony La Russa's starting lineup tonight. The Cardinals lead the Reds in the Central by a game and a half. Colby Rasmussen center, Ryan Ludwig in right, Albert Pujols at first. The cleanup hitter, Matt Holliday in left field, David Freese at third, and Yadier Molina will bat 6th and catch. A latter third is Skip Schumacher. The pitcher Adam Wainwright bats 8th, and Brendan Ryan bats 9th at short. On the mound for the Reds, the unbeaten rookie right-hander, 3-0, Mike Leake.
Not overpowering by any means is Mike Leake. He averages about 87 to 88 miles an hour on a fastball, but he's got lots of movement. Most of that movement is downward, and that's why he'll get a lot of ground balls. He's a guy that really doesn't think about pitching to certain hitters. When asked about pitching to Albert Pujols, he goes, hey, I pitch to the catcher, I pitch to spots. What a great attitude. That's one reason why Mike Leake right now is 3-0 with a nice, tidy 3.1 earned run average.
For Gillette's civil rights game, moments away from getting started. You notice the teams are wearing uniforms circa 1947, and of course that's in celebration of Jackie Robinson's rookie year with the Dodgers when he broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball. The game being played during the regular season for the 2nd straight year, and both years the Reds are host to the game. Whether that will continue remains to be seen. But I tell you one thing, it would be a very difficult act to follow for any city, Chris, trying to match what has taken place the last 2 years here in Cincinnati.
Well, Major League Baseball has been a big help in that, but the Reds have been so cooperative. The city of Cincinnati, almost perfect for it, with the National Underground Railroad Museum, Freedom Center right next door here to the ballpark. Worked out great. Another perfect weathered weekend, and we're ready for some baseball, some first-place baseball coming up right here.
Colby Rasmus digging in. Cardinals getting their first look at Mike Leake so far this year, and there's ball one. This game is underway. Perhaps a little early gamesmanship. Leake was into his warm-up tosses, had only thrown 2 pitches, and the umpire came out and asked him to remove some kind of a bracelet that he was wearing around his wrist. So perhaps the Cardinals trying to get in Mike Leake's head a little bit, but anybody who spent any time at all around Mike Leake will know that he won't even bat an eye at that kind of thing.
Now, maybe the Cardinals thought it was some kind of strange talisman that he had around his wrist and he couldn't pitch without it. I got news for you. This guy can still throw the ball at the knees with or without that bracelet.
1-2 to Colby Rasmus, and he is gone swinging to begin the game. Take a look at the Reds on defense, presented by Ford. Same group we saw in the outfield last night. Jones, Tubbs, and Bruce. Cabrera and Phillips up the middle. Roland and Votto on the corners. The only change from last night, the battery. Mike Leake and Ramon Hernandez. Well, now Ryan Ludwig. Had 7 hits and 12 at-bats in a 3-game series against Houston, then rolls in here last night, had 3 hits and a home run, but first pitch swinging lifts a fly ball to Jay Bruce. And the first 2 retired, and here comes Mike Leake's chance to face for the first time in his career Albert Pujols. Albert clubbing his first home run in 71 at-bats last night. It came in the 3rd inning. A 2-run home run to right center field. That was Pujols' only hit in 4 at-bats. He struck out twice in the game. And there's a fastball that he waves through to even the count. A sellout crowd on hand here tonight. The first official sellout since opening day. There's a little flare in the shallow right center that'll fall in a hit. So Pujols with a 2-out single keeps the inning alive for Matt Holliday.
Got it right out on the end of the bat, and when Albert swings the bat like that, you still freeze as an outfielder. They momentarily, Drew Stubbs, who plays him deep anyway, just couldn't get in there enough, makes a nice diving try, but Albert gets his hits, even those kind.
Two out, 1 on, and here's Matt Holliday. 4 home runs, 14 runs batted in. Holliday a .308 batter, and there's strike 1 from Leake. Rob Drake, the umpire, behind the plate tonight. The crew chief, Joe West, is at first. Angel Hernandez at second. And Paul Schreiber down at third. play center field, hit pretty well by Holiday. But room for Stubbs, and that is that in the Cardinal first inning. So a hit and one man left. The Reds are coming to bat on Gillette. Foster, like so many other former Reds greats, in attendance here tonight. And Dusty starting lineup. Orlando Cabrera at short, Brandon Phillips at second, Joey Votto at first. In the middle, Roland, Bruce, and Gomes, Stubbs, Hernandez, and Leake, the latter third. And a base hit on the first pitch, thrown by Adam Wainwright, is rolled into right field by Orlando Cabrera. What a year it's been for Wainwright. A 5-1 record. Already has a pair of complete games in his 7 starts and an ERA barely over 2.
Well, he came in third in the league last year in Cy Young Award. He's on his way again. He does it this way with a downward tilt on his fastball. Lots of ground balls like everybody else on his Cardinal staff. He's got a hammer of a curveball and a slider, but his curveball is special, and he keeps it in the yard. Last night's pitcher, Jaime Garcia, has not given up a home run all year. Adam Wainwright has given up 1 all year.
Now Brandon Phillips, a .257 batter, 4 home runs and 11 runs batted in. Brandon, a hitless night here last night, was hit by a pitch in the 8th inning. Cardinals came away 1-run winners, 4-3, to push their lead to a 1.5 over the Reds in the National League Central Division. By the way, the Cubs lost again today, falling to the Pirates by a final count of 4-3. And Milwaukee also lost today, falling to Philadelphia 10-6. Well, the entire baseball world undeniably zeroed in on this series. Not only because the top 2 teams in the National League Central Division are getting together, but of course because of the Gillette Civil Rights game again here in Cincinnati. 1-0 on Brandon. A ball and a strike. For those of you that may have missed it, I mean, you talk about a star-studded lineup. You've seen some of the faces and heard some of the names already. Willie Mays, Billie Jean King, Harry Belafonte, Roberta Flack performed before the game today. Grammy nominee Jeffrey Osborne handled our national anthem. Just a very glorious night in the air and playable fair ground. It's Pujols for the first out of the inning. Let's take a look at St. Louis on defense, presented by Ford. Ludwig in right, Rasmus in center, Holiday in left, David Freese, Brendan Ryan, Skip Schumacher, Albert Pujols third to first, and Yadier Molina will hang the signs for Adam Wainwright. Joey Votto slipped under the 300 mark last night by going 0 for 4 in the game, as 8 home runs and 24 batted in. Ball 1.
Well, last night's starting pitcher Jaime Garcia, especially tough on left-handers, but it doesn't get a lot easier with Wainwright. Actually, batters against righties and lefties hit identical against Wainwright. A batting average of a whopping 198. That's how good this guy is this year.
Wainwright only 28 years old. And if there's ever an illustration of being patient with a pitcher, and a highly touted young pitcher coming up through an organization, Wainwright might be example A. Well, actually, some good minor league seasons, Chris, but never seasons where you said, okay, say like Homer Bailey had coming up through the minor leagues. And then once he got to the major leagues, you know, he started out, of course, working out of the bullpen because they had injuries down there. He was a World Series hero, one of many for the Cardinals when they won the whole thing in 2006. But when he went into the rotation, you know, it took him a while to become the elite pitcher that he is now.
Well, it's interesting, really, because Adam Wainwright was originally drafted by the Atlanta Braves. A #1 round draft pick, big guy out of Georgia, Brunswick, Georgia. And then he was traded to the Cardinals. Of course, that's when Walt Jocketty was the general manager of the Cardinals, and they traded away a couple of pretty good players, J.D. Drew and Eli Marrero, who went down and had banner years that year for the Braves. In return, they got Wainwright, Jason Marquis, and Ray King. Good breaking ball there.
And Votto going on strike, second out of the inning.
I had a conversation, a really short conversation with Walt Jocketty before the game today to ask him about that trade and what Wainwright was and what he meant in that trade, because at that time Wainwright was a AA or AAA pitcher. He said without Wainwright in the deal, we would not have done it. We were looking for pitching. They were looking for offense. They needed J.D. Drew for that 1 year, who, by the way, hit over 30 home runs for Atlanta that year. So they traded away some quality player. But they wanted Wainwright in the worst way. And boy, in the long run, it really paid off.
After a leadoff single by Cabrera to begin the bottom of the first inning, Wainwright has retired Phillips and Votto, and now it's strike one to Scott Rowland.
I think the other thing that's interesting is that in his first full year in the major leagues, he was solely reliever. He pitched in 62 ball games. They kind of picked his spots. Of course, he had a tremendous postseason with them, but his stuff began to get better and better, and they realized he'd be better in the starting rotation in the long run.
Fly ball into right field, no problems for Ludwig, and that is that. A leadoff single. Cabrera never moves thereafter, and at the end of one, we're scoreless.
keeps it down. He won't give up too many long balls. Mike Leake lives down around the knees, even when he has those high walk games. He walked 7 in his first game, 5 batters in his second game. Most all of those were missing down in the zone. He just does not like to give in to the hitter. Changing speeds, keeping it down there, that's a great formula for success.
No score. We begin the second inning. Of course, when you get the ball up, guys can hit the ball out. And that's what happened last night to Aaron Harang against both Albert Pujols when he homered with a man aboard in the third. And then later, Ryan Ludwig on a pitch up in the zone in the fifth.
I'll tell you one difference between last night and tonight. The breeze was blowing last night. The flags were blowing out the center field, and that makes a major difference. I can't say there was a wind tunnel or a jet stream, but it was enough to pull those balls out of the yard. There is not that same breeze tonight, and already the Cardinals have hit one ball. I think the one by Ludwig would have been a home run last night, was not tonight.
2-1 to count on David Freese. Rookie third baseman rolls over at foul. It'll be Yadier Molina next, and then Skip Schumacher. Hooked into left field, and that is a fair ball that'll go to the wall. Extra bases for Freese to begin the Cardinals' second inning.
Well, this guy's a new Reds killer in a Cardinals uniform. He got hot in St. Louis against the Reds, carried them. He killed Aaron Harang, and both times he's played against him. And here he kind of gets fooled on a breaking ball, but he keeps his bat back just enough to get that ball down the line for a double.
Yadier Molina digging in. A .281 batter, a pair of home runs, 22 runs batted in. No sign of a bunt on the first pitch. It's up and in, ball one. When you have a guy like Wainwright on the mound, who's been as good as he has been last year and to begin this year, every now and again you'll see managers play for an early run. Why Scott Rowland is not so sure down at third base, even though Molina's given no sign at all that he might be trying to bunt the runner over. Rowland is still even with a bag over at third.
Well, unless the Reds put a play on, this area right here is all Mike Leake. He is supposed to cover that third base line. The third baseman holds his ground in case there's a stolen base attempt. We saw where Johnny Gomes took advantage of a misplay by Aramis Ramirez, who read a bunt, a fake bunt by Drew Stubbs. He charged hard and left the bag wide open, and Gomes slipped right into third base.
3-0 on Yadier Molina. And there's a strike, and Molina thought it was ball four.
Yadier Molina, of all people, does not like to show up an umpire, and I think that he legitimately thought that was ball four, not trying to show up anybody. He sprinted after that bat. He's trying to get that ball to the right side to move the runner over. Leake's trying to crowd him with the fastball.
3-1 to Molina, and there's strike two.
That would have been a good one to hit the other way. At least got that little comeback action on that fastball. Looks like it's going to be outside. All of a sudden it bends right around. It comes back and hits the outside corner.
Three balls, two strikes on Yadier Molina. A leadoff double in the Cardinals' second inning by David Freese. And after a brief timeout, here comes a 3-2 pitch. Fouled away.
Well, he went 3-0, threw him two fastballs, and then threw him a changeup on that pitch. Had him out in front of a little bit. You may have a pretty good setup now for a slider that'll break down and away. Maybe get a punch out here.
Roller to the left side. Roland will throw out Molina, but the runner does advance on to third base, and there's one out in the inning. After play tomorrow, the Reds and the Cardinals will have played 9 times already this year, and they'll get together again in a couple of weeks for another 3-game series in St. Louis. So far, the Cardinals have won 5 of the first 7 meetings. Dusty Baker will bring his infield in. Runner at third, 1 out. And the batter is Skip Schumacher. Breaking ball in there on the inside corner, strike 1.
Tom, you mentioned about how when you have Wainwright pitching, sometimes you try to get 1 run early. Well, if you're defending against Wainwright, you're trying to prevent that 1 run early. That's why the infield's in.
In the air, left field, plenty deep enough to back up Gomes and drive in Freeze from third. So a double, a ground ball to advance a runner, and a sac fly run batted in from Schumacher gives St. Louis a 1-0 lead in the second inning.
Good solid baseball so far by the Cardinals. They get the double. They run the guy over to third base on a ground ball, and that little simple fly ball plates a run.
So now the pitcher batting in the 8-hole, Adam Wainwright, a check swing and a miss, strike 1. Wainwright 2 hits and 20 at bats so far this year. Two and two now, pitcher against pitcher, with the bases empty and 2 outs in the second inning. That one will roll foul, and we'll do it again at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, we talk about the 2 teams having played already 7 times. Last night was the first time in now the 3rd series between the 2 teams, and the Reds got a look at the Cardinals' number 5 starter in Jaime Garcia. And tonight, the first time the Cardinals get a look at the number 5 starter of the Reds, Mike Leake. And they score against a rookie right-hander in the second inning. And after an inning and a half, the Cardinals lead by a run. To win. And an upcoming game by senior Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Cardinals lead 1-0 as the Reds come to bat against Adam Wainwright, last of the second inning. It'll be Jay Bruce, Johnny Gomes, and then Bruce Tubbs. Certainly this Reds team comes in on a nice roll offensively. Of course, they had a 5-game winning streak snapped here last night. But they have been averaging 7 runs per game during it. And over the last week, Reds batters ranked 3rd in the National League and 5th in all of Major League Baseball with a batting average of .292, and Jay Bruce will increase that with a leadoff single into right field. Well, tomorrow we invite you to bring the entire family out to the ballpark. Don't forget, the first 10,000 kids 14 and younger in attendance will receive a number 4 Brandon Phillips mesh jersey thanks to Chiquita. There are great seats still available. So call right now at 513-381-REDS, 381-REDS, or visit reds.com/family. Orlando Cabrera led off the first inning with a single, but then Wainwright retired the next 3 batters. Bruce begins the second inning with a base hit. And here's Johnny Gomes, strike 1. We're speaking of Brandon. Well, you talk about an unforgettable moment for him. Receiving the ceremonial first pitch on this Gillette Civil Rights game from Hall of Famer Ernie Banks. Ernie Banks will be stopping by the booth a little bit later on tonight, so you won't want to miss that. One of the true gentlemen to ever play the game. Had a chance to get to know him relatively well, although it's been many, many years since I've actually seen him. Back when I had the pleasure of announcing the Cubs games, boy, every time you were around him, such a positive, upbeat guy. Looking forward to seeing him again tonight. It's been a long time.
Famous for the most maybe positive thing you can say about baseball. Let's play 2.
1-1 breaking ball drops in there, strike 2. Johnny has that batting average all the way up to .281. 3 home runs and 19 batted in. He had 3 more hits in the game last night. Stole a base, scored twice. Tony La Russa was commenting on Johnny Gomes before the game today. He said, you know, we haven't seen a ton of this guy. I mean, he spent a lot of time over in the American League. Obviously saw him last year. But he said right now, this guy is the one guy that catches your eye from the opponent's dugout. Said he's playing every game as though it were his last game. And he said those players are dangerous players to play against. Barehanded by Freese. Nice play on both ends at third and Pujols at first.
Well, that's a dandy play by David Freese at third base. He had one choice, that was to barehand that ball. Gomes is running hard. He beat out an infield hit last night, hit through the shortstop. And very quick feed over there by Albert Pujols. He has become an expert at the Keith Hernandez move of pulling his foot at just about the same time he receives the ball. And sometimes a hair before.
Tying run is Jay Bruce out at second base, 1 out in the inning, and here's Drew Stubbs. He started 2 and took it on the inside corner of strike. Drew at 198 at his 4th home run of the year last night, and man, did he hit it. He knocked in all 3 of the Reds' runs last night. A 2-run home run in the 7th inning and a fielder's choice ground ball in the 9th. But if you didn't see that home run last night, the Reds' bullpen is in the deepest part of left center field. And there's a screen up above the bullpen mound to keep guys from getting hit with home run balls out there. Well, he hit it 3/4 of the way up that screen. That was a long way from home plate.
We're talking about right around there. Actually, I think that screen's there to keep people from dropping things on the players in the pen as opposed to home run balls.
Indeed.
They usually know when a home run ball's coming.
2-1 and a roller. Going to be a tough play for Freese here, and he got it. Boy, back-to-back dandy plays by David Freese.
Well, that left side of the Cardinal infield has some holes in it. Brendan Ryan, the shortstop's made 7 errors. David Freese has made 4 more, but he shows some excellent glove work on the 2 slow rollers that he's had hit them this inning. That ball bouncing enough that he didn't have to barehand it. He had time to get it in his glove, but hit the quick exchange, though, out of the glove to his hand and to flip to first base. Nicely done.
So now the tying run is 90 feet away as Jay Bruce advances on to third. Here's a number 8 hitter, Ramon Hernandez. Ramon hit the ball right on the money last night in the bottom of the 9th inning, but it was right to the shortstop, which began a game-ending double play. Many wondered why Dusty Baker did not send up Lance Nix last night as a left-handed batter rather than the right-handed hitting Hernandez, and Dusty told everybody after the game that Lance Nix was unavailable to play, and that's all he would say. And by the way, we're going to visit with Dusty Baker from the dugout in between innings, and we'll bring you some of his comments in the top half of the third. Two and 0 on Ramon Hernandez. And a ground ball into left field. A 2-out single by Hernandez ties the game at 1.
Well, how almost the same ground ball as last night that ended up in a double play ball to end the game turns into an RBI base hit in this game. He hit that ball last night a little bit further to the right of the shortstop, and in that 5.5 hole, he picks up a run batted in last night. Instead, he saves it for today and ties the ball game up at 1.
2-out hitting there by Ramon Hernandez drives in a tying run, and now it's Mike Leake. No easy out. We know that. 4 for 13 as a batter, and he looks at a first pitch fastball, and there's strike 1. So a 1-1 game. Each team scoring in its half of the 2nd inning. Red still batting with 1 on and 2 outs. One and 2. Breaking ball stays above the letters, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes on Mike Leake. Wainwright coming in 52 innings has surrendered just 35 base hits, and Chris mentioned only 1 home run. Still 2-2 to Leake. And already for Wainwright, 2 complete games this season. Swing and a miss on the breaking ball will retire the side, but a 2-out single by Hernandez ties the game at 1.
I think you got to get to him before he hits that, gets to that curveball. I think probably do a little more early in the count hitting, and get to that fastball before he gets to that devastating breaking ball that he has.
Dusty, do you ever think that Mike Leake is going to break? I mean, the guy just looks like he's been a 10-year veteran.
No, I mean, I just think he's going to get better and better as he gets more and more confident. The feeling that he belongs in the big leagues. I think he thought he belonged in the big leagues the day he was born, the way he acts. And, the thing about him is he throws strikes. He keeps the ball down, changes speeds, reads the swings very well, and he also elevates, when necessary.
Dusty, thanks for the time. Good luck tonight.
All right, thank you. See you later.
So we begin the third inning in a 1-1 game, and Cabrera, nice play to take away a hit from his counterpart, Brendan Ryan, on a bang-bang play at first. Well done, Orlando.
Or Brendan Ryan, even when he hits it soft and tough plays, he still can't buy a hit. But not when you hit it. Orlando Cabrera, former Gold Glover, comes charging hard. And a nice play by the red shortstop to get a very speedy Brendan Ryan boot scooting it down the line. The pride of Cartagena.
Colby Rasmus struck out leading off the game, and there's a blast to straightaway center field, hit a ton, and Drew Stubbs will watch it go. Home run number 7 for Colby Rasmus, and no sooner do the Reds tie the game, the Cardinals recapture the lead.
Well, in his first at bat, Colby Rasmus had a fastball blown right by him to go for a strikeout on a 2-2 count. This time he did not want to wait that long. An 85 mile an hour, I guess just sinking fastball, a little get ahead fastball. Boy, he went down to get it though. Not all that bad of a pitch location wise, although it caught a lot of the plate. Kid's got some pop.
A 2-1 ball game, and now Ryan Ludwig, second at bat, where he's been up there swinging at the first pitch. The first time a fly ball to Bruce, this time a pop up to Brandon Phillips. There are 2 away. Time for our Geico direct quote. It comes from a Say Hey kid. Baseball is a game, yes. It is also a business. But what it mostly truly is disguised combat. For all its gentility, it's almost leisurely pace. Baseball is violence under wraps. Of course, Willie Mays and Dusty Baker, very, very close friends. All the years Dusty was a manager with the San Francisco Giants, and they had known one another long before that. But if you're a manager with the Giants or a player for the Giants, pretty much day in and day out throughout the entire baseball season, you see Willie Mays comes down into the locker room before every game, spends a lot of time with the manager, getting to know the players on the Giants team. Heck, you saw Willie with his Giants cap on tonight. 3-1 to Poole. Now 3-2. Well, they have spent a lot of time together, and we'll have more on that relationship coming up. Two to Pujols, and it misses inside, and Albert draws a 2-out walk, the first issued in the game by Mike Leake. Matt Holliday didn't miss by much from hitting a home run, pretty much the same area where Rasmus did a moment ago when he ended the first inning on a fly ball caught by Drew Stubbs just in front of the wall in straightaway center field. On Matt Holliday. You always have to beware of Pujols at first, even though he's one of the game's great sluggers. He's also a pretty good base runner. Stole 16 bases in 20 attempts last year. Not running much so far this year. 1 for 1 in stolen base attempts. 2-0 on Matt Holliday, and it's 3-0. Well, you know Holliday has a 3-0 green light anytime he wants it. Now, whether or not he'll swing remains to be seen. He does, and he's tardy. Holliday originally came up with Colorado, had some great years there. They figured they couldn't sign him to a long-term deal, so traded him prior to last year to Oakland. And was there just half a season before the Cardinals went and got him. And now he draws a walk. So back-to-back two-out free passes issued by Lee. Ramon Hernandez will visit the mound before David Freese comes to the plate. What do you think, Mr. Welsh? Mike Leake trying to be a little too fine to the two big sluggers in the order?
Well, I think that he just doesn't want to be too careless with them. Obviously, in this ballpark, those big guys can hit the ball out of the ballpark and make it a 3-1 game and then a 4-run game if you give him successive pitches in over the middle of the plate. He's a guy that just does not give in. We said it early on. He didn't give in his first start when I thought he got squeezed by the umpires. 7 walks, but he never really wanted to throw the ball down the middle just to challenge somebody. That's just not his style. Always pitching to spots.
Well, whatever Ramon Hernandez had to say to him, boy, it brought not just a smile, but a chuckle, if not outright laughter from Leake out there on the mound. And he delivers strike one to Freese, who doubled down the left field line and scored in the second inning. Good pitch here by Leake. And this will back up Gomes, who makes the grab to end the inning. The Cardinals break the tie to go ahead 2-1 on the Rasmus home run. We're talking about Dusty Baker and Willie Mays. Got to know one another very well.
Here at the Civil Rights Game 2010, Orlando Cabrera steps in for the Reds. Jim Day with you. It is my absolute pleasure to interview Billie Jean King, one of the Beacon honorees on this night. And how special is this for you? Well, first of all, thanks for joining us. And how special is it this many years after your career that you were honored in such a way?
It meant so much to me, and when they asked me, I just said, "Me? With Harry and Willie? Are you serious?" I was like in shock. I really appreciate the honor. It just reminds me how much farther we have to go, though. You know, my whole life since I've been 12 is about equal rights and opportunities for boys and girls, men and women. The reason I ended up being in women's so much is because we're underserved. But, you know, I grew up with my brother, Randy Moffat, who became a Major League Baseball player, and he and I were always so close. And we just think of helping kids or helping adults. We didn't care what gender, but it ended up being that way. I wanted the men and women to be together as a tennis association, and the guys didn't want us. Therefore, we had to break off and start our own professional tennis. It wasn't fun. I didn't want it that way, but circumstances create opportunity.
When you were 12, it was a whole different world than it is right now. And because of your efforts, your tiring efforts, there are little girls now that have opportunities that maybe you didn't have. And they say you're at the forefront of that. How proud are you of that legacy? That's
very nice when people say that, but I always think about all the people that helped me. And there's somebody before me that I know. It just takes so many people. It takes families. And I always tell people the local sheroes and heroes are really in your home, either your parent or parents, guardian, coach, teachers. Just think about your own life. And the people that usually make a difference are the people in your hometown or close to you. And I think people should really think about that, who the real sheroes and heroes are. I think we inspire people, you know, as great athletes. But I think the real sheroes and heroes are right in your hometown.
So well said, as always. Billie Jean, a pleasure to meet you. Congratulations on the honor.
It's great to see you. He was 7 years old when I played Bobby Riggs.
And I brought that up to her in the Astrodome. You got it. Tom and Chris, in my eyes, the most important female athlete ever.
Well done, Jim Day. We thank Billie Jean King for her time tonight. And what a wonderful night it has been already. The Gillette Civil Rights Game, second straight year, hosted right here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Cardinals lead the game 2-1. We're in the bottom of the third inning. Adam Wainwright has retired Orlando Cabrera and Brandon Phillips to start it. So here's Joey Votto, whom Wainwright struck out in the first inning. Broken bat roller down to Pujols, and boy, Wainwright made that look easy. 1, 2, 3 in quick fashion. We move to the fourth. The Cardinals lead the Reds by a run. Winning streak snapped here last night, a game and a half back. as we enter play on this Saturday night, May the 15th. Cardinals lead 2-1. Yadier Molina looks at a breaking ball, strike one to begin the fourth inning. Another breaking ball in there, and it's quickly 0-2 on Molina.
I'll tell you one thing about Mike Leake. Boy, he works quick. He is even quicker than Tom Browning was when he pitched for the Reds. And he'll get some calls throughout his major league career. He'll get more calls and more good defensive plays behind him because of his pace of pitching than a guy that takes a lot of time.
On Molina. Now the count is even. Well, many of you already aware that Leake, a #1 draft pick, the 8th overall last year for the Reds out of Arizona State University. He will pitch this entire season in the big leagues at 22 years young. Won't turn 23 until just before Thanksgiving. Graduated from Fallbrook High School in California, just outside of San Diego. 3-2 on Molina, and he struck him out. Time now for our AT&T trivia question. Who are the only 3 players to play in 24 All-Star games for the National League? Well, Chris, I have a feeling we saw 2 of them here tonight.
I would suspect so. The first one comes to mind, I think, is probably a slam dunk, would be the Say Hey kid, Willie Mays.
And the other that's also a virtual slam dunk, Hank Aaron.
Well, played his entire career with the Cubs, so yes. That's a lot of All-Star games. Now, the third one would have something to do with one of the teams that's playing here tonight.
Well, I think it's safe to say that, you know, when all is said and done, Albert Pujols may well go down as the greatest St. Louis Cardinal of them all if he spends his entire career there. And he is a free agent. What after next year? But the man considered to be the greatest Cardinal of them all right now, I would imagine, is probably Stan the Man Musial. You agree?
Good guess.
So
that's a pretty good threesome to start a baseball team with, wouldn't you think?
Oh, it wouldn't be bad at all. 3-2 the count on Skip Schumacher.
How would you like to be their agent and go to arbitration after your 23rd All-Star game?
Bouncing ball to Brandon Phillips. He'll bobble, but still have time to recover to throw out Schumacher. And Mike Leake has set down the first 2 batters here in the fourth inning. We'll go ahead and answer it for you. The only 3 players in National League history to play in 24 All-Star games, and there you have it. Stan the Man joining Hank Aaron and Willie Mays. You know, to give you an idea about 24 All-Star games, just from a comparison standpoint, Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub, considered the greatest Cub of them all. 14 All-Star games. That's a lot of All-Star games.
Yes, it is.
And to think that trio you just saw a moment ago, an entire decade longer. 2-0 to Adam Wainwright. And now 2 balls and a strike. Speaking of Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks, he'll be joining us in the bottom of the fourth inning. 2-2. Ernie, for many years, has made his home in Los Angeles. Find out if he's still living out in L.A. 2-2 to Wainwright. We'll do it again.
Well, those 3 guys you mentioned in that AT&T trivia question, Tom, you know, Willie Mays and Ernie Banks were both the first African-American players on their respective teams. Willie Mays, of course, with the New York Giants, and Ernie Banks, of course, with the Cubs. It's a pretty good way to break in, huh?
Not bad. Line into center. Mike Leake, a 1-2-3 top of the fourth. Ernie Banks, when we come back, the Reds will come to bat trailing by a run. Was the announcer for the Cubs, and of course your longtime teammate, my broadcast partner Ron Santo then, right?
Yes.
So I had the opportunity, and a great opportunity to get to know a lot of you guys, you and Billy Williams and Glenn Beckert, and right on down the line, Randy Hundley, and I tell the story, I said, I wonder if Ernie comes up here tonight, and the first thing he's going to ask me is, are you married yet? Because you used to ask me all the time, when you getting married?
But I'm a minister now. I can marry people at Wrigley Field. You might have heard of that.
Well, I should have had you then marry us maybe, when we got married in Arizona out there at Chase Field.
Well, you can have a remarriage. You can do a remarriage at Wrigley Field.
No. I'm going to do it now, or I'm going to do it here in my hometown.
And we're going to pass these guys up.
You better believe it. I bet you get a lot of requests for that, Ernie, huh? Marriages at Wrigley Field?
Yes, we do. Wrigley Field, our new owner, Tom Ricketts, met his wife in the bleachers. Have you met him yet?
Not yet. You like him?
Yes, he is. He's a great guy. I do. He loves baseball. He loves the Cubs. Doing everything. We're trying to get the Toyota sign in Wrigley Field, as you know. And we have a little difficulty with that. But
we have that beautiful Toyota Tundra. Do you drive one of those?
No, I do not, but I have a Toyota. But it's a beautiful, beautiful car. But we're trying to get that sign in Wrigley Field, so we're working very hard on it next week, and he is looking forward to having that sign plus some more signs at Wrigley Field, more advertising.
Well, and 2 the count on Scott Rowland. How about that breaking ball? And Rowland disagrees with a call from Rob Drake, the home plate umpire. Ernie, the best breaking ball pitcher who threw the best curveball in your career. Who was it?
You know who that was.
Sandy.
Who?
Sandy.
Sandy was good. Yeah, Sandy was great. There was another one. Chris. Sam Jones. I don't know your
Sam Jones? No, I wouldn't know him.
Know the name, Jones. But I never saw him throw a breaking ball.
He pitched a no-hitter against the Pittsburgh Pirates. But a great breaking ball. Really. It start over here, it come in to you, and for a strike. And I remember we was playing a game against the Dodgers, and Pee Wee Reese was at bat, and Sam threw him a curveball. He sit down. He was over to play for a strike. He said, man, where did he throw that pitch? Why did he throw that pitch to me?
Now, you didn't throw Brandon Phillips a curveball at the opening pitch tonight, did you?
No, I did not. He's quite a player.
He is quite a player.
He is quite a player, and I'm trying to get him married. He's not married.
I'm not getting near that, Ernie.
What's that?
He's also a very sweet young man, Brandon.
Yes, he is.
You would like him a lot as a kid. I'm sure you've had a chance to meet him now a couple of times. So what are you doing with most of your time?
I want to see him get married.
I know you. I've heard this routine. What are you doing with yourself most of your time? Still living in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, but I'm from Chicago. Me and Billy Williams are ambassadors for the Cubs. And what we do is deal with the players. Oh, wow.
This has a chance, and it's a foul ball.
But we, do a lot of stuff, charity stuff for the Cubs, and we do a lot of things with the team, the players, travel with the team. Not a lot, but, Lou is there and the coaches are all there. But we just chat with them and talk to them and try to get them inspired, get them interested in the game. And the play at Wrigley Field is an amazing player. You broadcast there. You've been there too, haven't you, Chris? It's an amazing player to play in it, Wrigley Field.
I want to ask you a question, Ernie, and in all those years having been around you, there can be a lot of young players. I don't care if they're white, they're African American, Japanese, whatever the case may be. But I've always said, I don't know if I've ever met anybody in my life that walks around with a better positive outlook just on life day to day than you do. I mean, I sincerely mean that, and I want to ask you this, because there are a lot of guys out there that didn't see you play. There are a lot of guys my age that didn't see you play. But if you had advice for somebody, what is the one thing that puts you in such a good mood all the time? I really mean this question, because I think there are a lot of people out there that could probably use some of this from a guy who seems to be happy so often like you are.
It's just wonderful. That's where I was born. People I was around, like Buck O'Neil with Kansas City Monarchs. A lot of the players I played against, Hank Aaron, Willie May, they were all just ready to go, positive about playing the game. They looked at the game as that, it's all right, and I care about it, but not that much. So they didn't fight it all the time. They just enjoyed it, played it. And that's the way I look at life. It's just that way. It's just wonderful. I mean, people will tell me sometimes, well, I'm having a problem with this. I said, that's great. Now let's find out how to handle it. Here's what you do. You just go out and enjoy life. Let it go and don't be so serious about it. And that's the way it is. I look at baseball and playing it. I mean, seeing the players here tonight and went down in the Cardinals locker room, down to the Reds, and, just seeing them. I mean, being able to play this game is just a wonderful, joyful thing. You can't win every day. You can't lose every day. But just to go out there and give it your best effort and play hard and enjoy it and have fun at it.
1-1 at Johnny Gomes, and there's a breaking ball swung on.
He's quite a player. This is an enthusiastic player. I don't know him, but I've seen him when we played here, and he won the UL beat us 3 out of 4, 3.
Yeah, we've given your guys a whipping.
But we're going to pass you all up.
Okay, well,
he has a lot of energy, doesn't he? And
yeah, he does.
When you have a guy like that on your team, it rubs off on your teammates.
Tell me about him.
Well, he was a guy who came up and had some success in Tampa Bay, Ernie, when he first came up, and then all of a sudden he didn't have that same kind of success and became available. The Reds gave him a chance last year. He was a part-time player but made the most of it, but you can tell. Tony La Russa said before the game today, he said, this guy plays every day like it's his last game. And he said those are the kind of guys that worry you when you're managing against him. Stolen base attempt, and out at second base, Jay Bruce.
How is he different than Pete Rose? I mean, Pete has a lot of enthusiasm.
Pete got more hits than this guy.
Yeah, he did. But
Ernie, let's roll the clock back a little bit. Let's go back to 1950 when you signed as a young man to play for the Kansas City Monarchs. And you played for the Monarchs for a few years and then hooked up with the Cubs. How did that happen, and what was it like in that transition from Kansas City, the Negro League, into the National League?
Well, it was a big transition. I mean, I didn't expect to make it to the Cubs. The last game, me and a guy named Bill Dickey was there, and Buck O'Neil, our manager, told us to meet him in the lobby. We did, and he took us to the place. We were sitting in the cab and got there, and we looked up at this big red sign and said, Wrigley Field. So what are we doing at Wrigley Field?
There's your guy, Ernie Banks. Johnny Gomes, a home run to the second deck.
Hey! 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 No, I just see him. I don't know him, but his enthusiasm really impressed me. To play the game, play hard, not to look at other things. I mean, you make outs and all that. Look at this swing he's got. Wow, a powerful swing. God almighty. Who's your hitting coach? Who's your batting coach?
Jacoby. You remember him? He used to play for the Cleveland Indians for a long, long time.
He worked with all the hitters.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is an exciting ballpark, exciting fans. You got a great owner, Mr. Castellina. He just love it.
Well, you know all the owners now.
He hates to lose.
You know all the owners.
Yes, he hates to lose. You met Mr. Ricketts, have you?
I'm going to meet him when we come in there the 4th of July. You going to be there when we come in?
Yeah, I'll be there.
I can't wait to see you again.
He's a nice guy. With the University of Chicago, he loves the game. Met his wife at Wrigley Field and the left field bleachers, and he's doing everything to improve the park and, make it a nice place for the fans to come.
Bruce Stubbs takes load, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Ernie, it has been a pleasure having you up here with us tonight. You're a kind man for taking the time.
It's good to see you. You're doing a remarkable job. I hear you a lot on different. God, I know him. He would spend time at Wrigley Field. He walked at Wrigley Field.
You give Mr. Ricketts the same song and dance for crying out loud.
But I hear you on the game of the week and this and that and the playoffs. So this kid is really remarkable. He loves what he's doing. He
Two ball game. Mike Leake takes the mound, top half of the 5th inning. Game 2 of this 3-game weekend series. Sellout crowd on hand here tonight at Great American Ballpark, as for a second straight year, the Reds are the proud host to the Gillette Civil Rights game. Many of you were with us during the pregame tonight, where we have the entire ceremony down on the field. And the Reds CEO, Mr. Bob Castellini, has joined us in the booth. And Bob, I imagine you have to be so proud, not just of the Cincinnati Reds and everybody in the Reds organization that worked so hard to make this happen, but as a native Cincinnatian for the entire city for 2 years in a row now. Congratulations.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, we are very proud, and our staff did just a magnificent job. So many people have said to me today, why can't we have this every year? And the reason is that every major league city needs this. It's a terrific bonding experience for the community, and the commissioners decided that every 2 years they're going to go to a different city. It's been spectacular. There's no question about it.
Got to ask you, if there's one person, and I'm not throwing you on the spot here, one person.
Oh, you never do, Tom.
Yeah, I never would do that. or one conversation that you have had during the Civil Rights Weekend, last year or this year. Yeah. One conversation that you've had that has stood out more than any other. Have you had that?
Yeah, well, I'll give you a comical one. You just had Ernie Banks up here, and I was sitting down there on the field with him, and he pointed to his jersey, and he said, we're going to whoop on you guys. And I said, Ernie, you better tell Lou to get going.
Bob, what do you hope to be the lasting effect of the 2 years you've had the Civil Rights game here in Cincinnati?
Well, one of the things that is ongoing and has been happening even before we had the Civil Rights Games was this dedication to kids baseball. And Joe Morgan said something. Here's what I would tell you, Tom, in a panel discussion yesterday. The most memorable thing that I've heard in the 2 years. And Joe's absolutely right. He said, look, Major League Baseball has built all of these fancy academies down in the Dominican and elsewhere. And for the last 15 years, participation on the part of kids, especially inner city kids, has just deteriorated. And why haven't we done this in the United States? And in fact, that's what's happening. We have a big academy in Compton, California. We're just finishing one in Houston, and now Major League Baseball is going to partner up with our Reds Community Fund and build an academy here.
Really?
Yeah, I mean it hasn't been signed on the dotted line yet, but almost had him.
That's exciting news.
Yeah,
very exciting news.
And it is a good point that Joe has made, and he didn't just talk about the African American community. He said, look, this is for everybody, and baseball has lost some popularity to things like soccer and lacrosse, and certainly to basketball, and we've got a job to do here in the United States.
Well, the crowd applauding because the Reds have made the decision, and really every team in baseball makes this decision pretty regularly, that when you have a base open, you're not going to pitch to Albert Pujols. Runner at second, 2 outs in the inning in his 2-2 game. I met a woman tonight on the elevator. Walks in with her 2 sons, and she says, I know you from somewhere. And I said, well, we introduce ourselves to one another. And she said, I'm so happy to be here tonight. She said, my son is part of the RBI program.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how's he doing? She said, well, it's been 3 years now. And she said, it has been an unbelievable thing in his life. Not just playing baseball. I mean, we know the meaning of playing baseball, and everybody plays baseball if you're lucky enough to do it and have fun. But the relationships that have been built inside of that RBI program, and I know that's something that you with the Reds and everybody in baseball should be proud of.
Yeah. But it goes more than it goes beyond just creating baseball players and fans. It keeps the kids busy in the summer and off the streets, and it gives them, a lot of them, their first grasp of self-confidence, and it's just been a marvelous program around the country, and our community fund with Charlie Frank has just done a great job.
All right, Bob, what do you think of the team so far this year?
I think the team is starting to show that we do have a great starting rotation, and if this continues, we're going to just continue to do well.
How about Mike Leake? You like him?
Well, here's a fellow who a year ago was beating Southern Cal and UCLA, and three weeks ago he beat the Dodgers.
County Stadium against Al Downing. Into the baseball record books went Hammer and Hank Aaron. Home run number 715. Of course, he hit 714 a couple of weeks earlier on opening day here in Cincinnati at Old Riverfront Stadium. A 2-2 game. Reds and the Cardinals. We begin the bottom of the 5th inning. Ramon Hernandez, Mike Leake, then Orlando Cabrera. Hernandez hit a 2-0 pitch with 2 outs into left field to knock in Jay Bruce in the Reds' 2nd inning. Johnny Gomes tied the game at 2 with a solo home run way back into left in the 4th. Two and 1 to Hernandez. Hank Aaron here tonight. He was a Beacon Award winner last year and comes back for the ceremonies 1 year later. Great to have him in town. One of the game's great gentlemen.
Hey, Reds fans, check out this year's Rookie of the Year, JTM's new 32-count microwavable burgers. Look for them in their yellow bag today. JTM, food, family, fun.
Into left center field, and this will go to the wall. Extra bases for Ramon Hernandez. And a leadoff double in his 2-2 tie in the 5th sets a table for Leake to try and move him over.
I think maybe Adam Wainwright tried to get a little too cute here after throwing fastballs right by Ramon Hernandez. He decides to throw a slider, hangs it down the middle. Ramon is all over it. He splits the gap in left center. Sometimes you can outthink yourself out there on the mound.
Mike Leake already a pair of sacrifices so far this year. Now Hernandez, as we know, does not run well. And the Cardinals are extremely aggressive, especially Pujols at first base.
Well, all you've got to do if you're Mike Leake is get the ball down the third base line somewhere. Make sure that the third baseman, David Freese, fields it. So you've got all this area over here to work with. I'm wondering now, Leake handles the bat pretty well. Would they try a butcher boy play here? Because you got Albert Pujols coming in there so close, he can smell Mike Leake's breath when the ball gets there. He's charging hard.
Tries to put it up the third base line, rolls it foul. 1-1 to Mike Leake. We hear managers talk about it all the time. The word over and over in any sport. Execution, execution, execution. Reds a game and a half out of first, playing the team which they trail. They get a leadoff double in a tie game and now looking for execution to advance that runner down to third. There, my friends, is execution.
Now you help yourself with little things as a pitcher. You stay in the game longer, and it gives you a chance to win a game. Here he is in a tight 2-2 ball game. His team's not doing much offensively. You don't get much in the way of scoring chances off of Adam Wainwright. But now you've got a runner from second to third with 1 out. It makes it a whole lot easier now for Orlando Cabrera to put a ball into the air into the outfield and drive in that go-ahead run.
Cabrera settles in tonight, a single to right and lined out to right. Orlando Cabrera this season without a sacrifice bunt, but has 5 sacrifice flies, and that is by far the most on this Reds team. Cardinals conceding the run to their middle infield defense. They will come to the plate on anything hit to third or Pujols at first. And now the 1-0 from Adam Wainwright. Cabrera wants timeout.
Well, you know, Orlando Cabrera is the guy, the only guy this year to have hit a home run off of Adam Wainwright. Happened the first week of the season. Wainwright has not given up a home run in his last 6 starts since Cabrera took him deep.
There's a little flare in the infield, which will not get the job done. When the Reds get it done with an RBI this season, that means another $25 from Shakeley for the Reds Community Fund. Shakeley, it's done. And Orlando Cabrera unable to get in the runner from third, and now the Reds are looking for a 2-out hit from Brandon Phillips.
Yeah, that's a tough break right there. Obviously, I was excluding the home run that Gomes hit, but in the previous 6 starts, that's how stingy Wainwright is with homers, and when you make a mistake, you better jump on it.
Breaking ball is under the knees. Ball 1 to Phillips, who has popped up to Albert Pujols and grounded out for the Cardinal first baseman. Brandon went hitless in the game here last night. So no better time than to get the first hit of this series for Brandon Phillips, and right here and right now against Wainwright.
They are consistently pitching him outside right now, the Cardinals are, and he's just not making the adjustment. Wainwright very good at dotting the I in the outside corner, hitting it with the fastball and the slider. But right now, Brandon pulling off of it.
Runner at third, 2 away, and the pitch to Phillips. A routine 1-hopper down to third. Reds miss a chance. A leadoff double, the runner stranded at third, and the 5, a 2-2 game.
You obviously with what happened with your father last year.
Well, you know, it's a big deal to be around all these great icons. You know, they really inspire me to do my part now, and I hope they inspire others. So I was very happy to be here to present Billie Jean her award.
You know, she broke so many grounds for women in not only the United States, really around the world, and you were able to present that to her. What'd that mean to you?
You know, it means a lot. I actually know her very well. I'm on the board of her foundation, the Women's Sports Foundation, and, you know, she's a great, phenomenal woman, and she's one of a kind, and I would love to see more women like her. You know, those are the footsteps I want to follow in.
You know, your family is very special. Obviously, your father's traveled all over the world and pushing the cause for civil rights. What does this mean, the civil rights game, and really what this this whole thing is about to someone like you and to your family, and really to African Americans across the United States?
Well, I think for all people, it just reminds us of how far we've come, how much more we need to do. You know what I mean? And that we all have a responsibility just to love each other and to know and do what's right. I'm sorry, to do what we know is right. You know, and that's the bottom line. Each individual person has that responsibility.
Well, Tom and Chris, she's 24-0 with 21 knockouts, but you have a little one now. Are you going to fight anymore, or are you done?
I'm not. I'm retired. I ran out of competition.
Undefeated. That's the way to do it, right?
That's right.
Ladle, thank you very much. We appreciate it. All right, Tommy, Chris, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Jeff. Of course, her dad was here last year. And what a great thrill that was for so many to see, if not meet, Muhammad Ali. There's a bounce out by David Freese as we open the 6th inning. With a 2-2 game, and Chris, the Reds unfortunately missed a shot there in the bottom of the 5th to get their first lead of the night.
Well, you don't get many opportunities against Adam Wainwright. He keeps the ball in the yard for the most part, and when you get a runner at third base, you try to take advantage of it. He made a good pitch on Cabrera. Cabrera couldn't get it into the outfield, and you continue on all tied up at 2. That just gives you more motivation, though, as a pitcher to say, all right, guys, I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to go out there and throw a nice 1-2-3 inning, give you another chance to get back out there with the bats and do some damage.
Yadier Molina takes outside, 2 balls and no strikes. He's bounced to third and struck out.
Well, he fell behind Molina the last at bat, 3-0, and came right back to strike him out. It doesn't look like Yadier Molina really picks the ball up very well off of Mike Leake. There always seems to be 1 or 2 hitters in the opposing lineup that falls into that little trap. But the ball just comes out of his hand in such a funny way that some hitters just don't see it right.
Swing and a miss, and that is strike 3 to Yadier Molina, and Leake, after striking him out, will go get his bat for him.
Here, Yadi, you forgot something. It's a pretty good-looking slider right here. Yadi thinks it's a fastball. He says, hey, go get the bat, young man. You know, it's one thing to be a strikeout victim. It's another thing to look that bad doing it. Hitters do not like that.
Four strikeouts in the game now for Mike Leake, and with 2 away, here's Skip Schumacher, and he rolls it foul, and Mike ahead of him at 0-2. Leake closing in on 100 pitches in the game. And the Reds, right from the very beginning of this season, are very much monitoring how much Mike Leake pitches. Number of pitches, number of innings. His first year as a pro. 6 innings in the book for Leake. He has allowed just 2 runs to the Cardinals. enough to remember it. Who'd you think would win? Bobby Riggs or Billie Jean King? Text 1 or 2 to 37664. Who'd you think would win?
I thought Bobby Riggs would wipe the court with her.
Really?
Yes. Boy, was I surprised. Now, were you old enough to remember that at all?
Vaguely. And, I didn't follow it much, but the bottom line was I didn't think there was any way in the world some guy 60-something years old was going to beat a woman, or 55, whatever he was. I thought he was older than that, but
I think he was only 55.
I thought he was over 60. But the point being, I didn't think there was any way in the world some guy 55, 60, 65 years old was going to beat some 22-year-old. That's right. That's exactly right.
Well, I can't play tennis.
Joey Votto, boy, he's having a rough time against Adam Wainwright. 0 for 3, and he struck out twice. One away here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Reds and the Cardinals are tied at 2, and game 2 of his 3-game weekend series. Scott Rowland did not like a called third strike from the home plate umpire Rob Drake his last time up in the 4th.
And it was the exact same pitch that Adam Wainwright led him off with in this at-bat, which is a curveball.
Into left field, and this baby's headed to the wall. This will be a 1-out double for Scotty Rowland. And the Reds have a go-ahead run at second base with 1 out in the 6th.
Now, they wanted to set up the fastball, get it right inside on him, and they did. But Scott Rowland's a very good high ball hitter. If you want to get in on him, you've got to get it down underneath the hands, not above the hands. And he rolls that top hand, lines it down the left field line. And again, the Reds have a runner in scoring position.
And they have a batter coming to the plate who has seen the ball very well tonight against Adam Wainwright. Jay Bruce, a single into right center field his first time up. Drew a walk in the 4th inning, was thrown out trying to steal second base. Ball 1.
That is the biggest difference between Jay Bruce this year and last year, or when he was struggling last year. He used to chase that pitch almost on the first pitch every time. Much more patient now, and he'll get more and more so.
Bruce requesting time and granted by Rob Drake. Jay out of the box and going right back in there. The Reds have not led in the entire game. Cardinals got a run in the 2nd. Reds tied in the 2nd. Cardinals a home run by Rasmus in the 3rd. And Johnny Gomes tied the game in the bottom of the 4th with a home run.
And we really have much time to talk about it. What do you think of the uniforms they're wearing tonight?
I like them.
Yeah, I do too.
Those are the ones the Reds wore in 1947. 2-0 to Jay. Borderline strike there. I don't think Bruce agreed with that call a little bit. Boy, that looked like an extremely generous strike there.
Well, when it's low like that, that's the only thing that you can see from the dugout. And I guarantee you that Rob Drake is hearing a little barking from that Reds dugout.
2-1 to Jay Bruce. Go-ahead run is rolling out at second base. There's a strike right down the middle. And Jay must have been guessing there 2-1. Because that's a fastball right in his wheelhouse. Fooled him with a pitch down and in. And that's strikeout number 6 tonight for Wainwright. 2 outs in the inning.
Well, he carved him up pretty good in this particular at-bat. Got the benefit of a low strike, but Jay Bruce went down chasing that low slider.
But, Chris, you know as well as anybody, I mean, as a pitcher, when you're Adam Wainwright, the entire complexion of that at-bat, the way it changed on that 2-0 call that should have been ball 3, all of a sudden, instead of 3-0, it's 2-1, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it not only changes the at-bat, it may change the course of the ball game. Of course, that's assuming something positive happens for the Reds. But, sometimes you let it bother you that the umpire makes a bad call, and then you take it through your next pitch. I think he took that 2-0, that 2-1 fastball right down the middle because he was still thinking about how bad he was jobbed on the previous pitch.
All right, now Johnny Gomes. He has been the man lately, seemingly has delivered time after time after time when the Reds have needed him most. Opening game of this series last night, Gomes 3 hits, scored 2, robbed of a hit his first time up today, and then tied the game in the 4th inning with a home run. And even though it's righty against righty, again, to repeat the conversation we had with Tony La Russa before the game, he said, watching this guy right now and the way he is playing, he's the kind of guy that scares you to death. And they're going to want him. How about that?
Well, I think Tony is obviously an astute manager, maybe the best in the game. A lot of people think so, and I might be one of them. But, one of the jobs of the manager is to recognize who is hot on the other team. Not necessarily according to numbers, but how he looks at the plate. What kind of stage presence he has. Is he on the pitches? Does he take the pitches like he knows he can hit them if he wanted to? And right now, Gomes is hot. Now, there are times when Johnny Gomes is as cold as ice water, and you want to pitch to him all day long. This is not one of those times.
So the Reds have 2 on, and now it's up to Drew Stubbs, who has bounced out to third and struck out 0 for 2 in the game. A 2-2 game with 2 on and 2 outs. Ooh, he got a hanger, it looked like, right there on the first pitch, and slams it foul behind the plate.
Well, the first pitch, get a head pitch is always nice, and that's a breaking ball right there, and Stubbs just pulls off of it.
And it wasn't as much of a hanger as I thought, coming in real speed. And had some pretty good tilt to it.
I'll tell you, it looks even better if you're in the batter's box.
Yeah, I bet.
Looks awfully easy from the comfort of that leather couch in front of that big LCD screen, huh?
No doubt about it. 0-1 to Stubbs. Breaking ball again, identical result.
Well, he's got very quick bat inside, Drew Stubbs does, and he jumps on that high inside fastball. It was a fastball I believe he hit last night for a home run. So there are certain zones, rather than pitch to hitters' weaknesses, sometimes pitching coaches will instruct you to stay out of certain hot zones.
Nothing at 2 on Drew Stubbs. Wainwright ready, and here comes a pitch. Breaking ball again, and this time Stubbs lays off of it. Big at bat here for the youngster Stubbs. 2-2 game, last of the 6th inning. 2 on, 2 out, 1-2 pitch on the way. Just off the outside corner.
Well, they've seen 3 curveballs and a slider.
Wainwright okays the sign with Molina. Look back at Rowland. And that ball is drilled into right center field. Hit very well, and it's up against the wall, and this will score a pair of runs. And Stubbs on his way to third with a 2-run triple.
He got a slider, but this time it caught some of the plate, and boy, did he make a great adjustment. Drew Stubbs stays right on this pitch and drives it in the seam between center and right, and that'll clear the bases. So for the second night in a row, Drew Stubbs comes up big with the offense. One swing on the bat, drives in 2 last night, and drives in 2 again tonight.
He has knocked in 5 runs in the first 2 games of this series as Drew Stubbs. Now Ramon Hernandez. He had a 2-out RBI his first time up. It's in the air down the right field line, and Ludwig a step late. Foul ball.
I don't think that Dusty Baker will probably be in much of a hurry to get Drew Stubbs back into that leadoff spot. Not the way he is providing some extra pop down here at the bottom of the lineup.
And Cabrera's doing a nice job in the leadoff spot as well. Tell you one thing, those RBIs are really starting to pile up for Stubbs. I mean, this guy has now knocked in 18 runs, and you're talking about a batter who's hitting under 200.
And hit for the most of the season in the number 1 hole, which you rarely get all that many chances for runs batted in.
0-1 on Hernandez. And a breaking ball misses inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now the Reds have action in their bullpen. Mike Leake is standing in the on-deck circle. But Arthur Rhodes has been up and throwing during this entire bottom of the 6th inning. On Ramon Hernandez. A breaking ball smothered by Molina. 2 balls and a strike. So tonight, the Cardinals elect to intentionally walk Johnny Gomes. Take their chances with Drew Stubbs after Wainwright had fallen behind Gomes 2-0. Stubbs makes him pay. Breaking ball in, 3 balls and a strike. Hernandez a single, a double, a run batted in. And now full count. Good numbers in a full count situation for Hernandez, and he'll take the walk. And now Dusty Baker summons Mike Leake from the on-deck circle, and he'll send up a pinch hitter in a nice round of applause from Mike Leake. Chris Welsh, the kid, has done it again. I mean, here he is now in just his 7th professional start. And after losing last night, this is a big game tonight for the Reds, and the rookie goes 6, allows only 2.
Well, right now in that dugout, none of those guys is even considering the fact that he pitched without minor league experience. They just want him to continue to contribute as a major league pitcher every 5th day.
So Miguel Cairo will come up as a pinch hitter for Mike Leake here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Reds have broken a 2-2 tie on a 2-out, 2-run, 3-base hit by Drew Stubbs. And Cairo takes a breaking ball in there, strike. Runners on the corners, 2 away, nothing in 1 to Cairo. Fastball is high to even things at a ball and a strike. Wainwright is due to lead off the next inning. So Tony La Russa reluctant to get anybody started and go out to hook Wainwright. Two balls and a strike. 2-1 the count on Miguel Cairo, and an excuse me roller down to first, and this will end the inning. But with 2 on and 2 outs, Drew Stubbs, a 2-run triple to right center field. At Reds.com. Or you come to the ballpark, you can cast a ballot. Vote early, vote often, vote Reds at Reds.com today. Tell you what, no setup guys, or at least it's extremely rare that setup guys ever go to an all-star game. But if there is one setup guy both last year and this year who deserves to make an all-star team, he's now on to pitch for the Reds, Arthur Rhodes.
Oh, you're not going to get any argument here on that. Look at the opponent batting average, 114 down there. They just simply don't get on base. He's at the bottom of the order now.
Nick Stavinoa will pitch in for Adam Wainwright. First pitch swinging. Pop up, shallow center. 1 pitch, 1 out. Boy, baseball is a funny game. You look last night, Aaron Harang, been a #1 starter for the Reds over the last 5 years. He gets locked up against a rookie in Harang's home ballpark. A rookie off to a great start. And the rookie outpitched the veteran, at least on a Friday night in May last night. Tonight, one of the game's elite pitchers in Adam Wainwright going up against a Reds rookie in Mike Leake. Same result for the youngster in back-to-back games. Leake outpitches Wainwright on this Saturday night in May. Wainwright 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs. And Mike Leake 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. Of course, that shot made you think of David and Goliath down there in that dugout.
Didn't it? Big brother, little brother.
1-2 to Brendan Ryan. Foul away.
Now that's a game of baseball. You know, that 5-ounce baseball that they fire up there, those hitters don't care whether you weigh 270 or 170 or 150.
1-2 on Brendan Ryan. Fastball up and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We go back to the top of the order next in Rasmus. So you look at the way the final 3 innings shape up here. The 8th inning, if Rhodes is able to retire the side in order, would bring up the heart of the Cardinal order. Right-hander Blake Hawksworth is getting loose in the St. Louis pen, so it appears as though we'll see him in the bottom of the 7th. Reds with a 4-2 lead. Struck him out on a fastball away. 2 up and 2 down for Rhodes.
Now you set him up with a breaking ball, you get him velocitized, looking for something off speed, and then you put a sizzler on the outside corner. That's the way the Reds handled Brendan Ryan last night. Just pecked away at the outside corner, did not look good, and still has not found his groove. Hopefully he'll wait till we see the Cardinals leave town before that happens again.
Here's Colby Rasmus. 1 for 3. Hit a home run to straightaway center field in the 3rd inning. Rasmus now with 7 home runs on the year. Drives this ball into left center, but it will stay in the park. Stubbs is there, and how about Arthur Rhodes? Ho hum. 1, 2, 3 again. We're going to keep it right here.
Jackson, America the Beautiful, thrilling the crowd here at Great American Ballpark. Harry Belafonte used his influence as an entertainer and singer for greater causes. During the 1960s, he brought attention to civil rights and encouraged other entertainers to do the same. Here's Brian Kiesenschlag.
Known as the King of Calypso, Harry Belafonte gained an international audience as an actor and musician in the 1950s. He also gained a much different audience as a social activist and supporter of the civil rights movement.
And his friends say that's Harry Belafonte, a man who first became known for his voice as a musician, has in turn given a voice to millions of people around the world affected by social injustice.
Reverend Damon Lynch III is a friend of Belafonte's and pastor of Cincinnati's New Prospect Baptist Church.
Wherever they're hurting people or marginalized people, Harry Belafonte stands on the side of those hurting people. In the city of Cincinnati in the early 2000s, Harry stood with those of us who were fighting against police brutality in the city of Cincinnati. We welcomed him in that struggle, and he has continued to stand with hurting and marginalized people across this world.
Belafonte was a confidant and supporter of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his family.
Whether it's for African Americans or immigrant workers or gays and lesbians, it's an ongoing struggle. And Harry's message is to stand firm, to be steadfast and unmovable, and eventually we will win the struggle.
To the players and coaches on Reds Live, brought to you by King's Honda in the King's Auto Mall. Visit kingshondausa.com.
All right, we begin the bottom of the seventh inning. The Reds with a 4-2 lead, and now taking over on the mound for St. Louis is Blake Hawksworth, 27-year-old right-hander. He faces the top of the order. Pretty good year so far for Hawksworth.
Well, following up on a pretty good year last year, his first in the major leagues. He was 4-0 with an earned run average right around 2 in 30 games for the Cardinals.
Hawksworth went to spring training with an eye on the rotation. And because they had question marks in that bullpen leading up to their closer, Ryan Franklin, about 3/4 of the way through the spring, they made the decision that he would go back to the bullpen. Two and two on Orlando Cabrera. The fastball is up and in, running the count full. Cabrera 1 for 3, singled in his first at bat tonight. Three-two pitch. Broken bat roller down to third. And Freese slows out Cabrera. Well, as you know, the Reds went wire to wire to win the 1990 World Championship, and the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum is celebrating that unforgettable year. You can experience the brand new exhibit that brings a remarkable story of that 90s team to life, presented by Ford. For more information and tickets, visit Reds.com/Hall of Fame. One away in the bottom of the seventh inning. Brandon Phillips a hitless night, 0 for 3. 2-1 to Brandon, and a breaking ball is off the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. You look ahead of the 8th inning. McMassett cranking it up in a hurry. Well, heart of the Cardinal lineup coming up, all right-handed batters. Ryan Ludwig, Albert Pujols, Matt Holliday. Very tardy swing there by Phillips.
Yeah, Brandon has not really looked good the last couple of days at the plate. And hitters go in and out of this stuff all the time. Premier players go through the bad times fewer times than the mediocre players.
Another very late swing, and was lucky that time to get a piece of it at all. Still a ball and 2 strikes on Brandon. And we'll keep it right there. Finale of this series comes your way tomorrow, and of course we'll have it for you right here on Fox Sports Ohio. A couple of veterans locking up tomorrow. Bronson Arroyo against right-hander Brad Penny. Reds Live gets underway at 12:30. First pitch at 1:10. There are tickets available. Why not come on down? There's a one-hopper that appeared to take a bad hop over the head of David Freese, and that'll be scored a hit. Well, Phillips, his first hit of this series.
Well, David Freese has handled the very soft stuff very nicely, but he did not get in front of that ball. He went down on that ball almost on one knee, but he kind of sidestepped it. I mean, third base has been described to me, and I've never played it, but as like a fumble in football. You knock it down, you take it off your chest, you pick it up, and you've got still plenty of time to throw the runner out. Does not pay to sidestep a ball down there at third base because it does take a crazy hop. You're looking at a guy on first.
Joey Votto 0 for 3 tonight. Has struck out twice. Well, Brandon Phillips just got his first hit in the series. Joey Votto is trying to get his first hit. One ball and 1 strike on Votto. Adam Wainwright, the front 6, allows 7 hits, 4 runs, all earned. Twice was given a lead by his team tonight, and neither time could hold it. And then finally, the Reds broke through with a 2-out, 2-run triple by Drew Stubbs in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Nothing wrong with playing for a little add-on right here.
Two balls and a strike to Joey Votto. Jay Bruce and Johnny Gomes have been right in the thick of things tonight. Bruce has been on twice, scored a run. Johnny Gomes has been on twice, scored twice, and hit a game-tying home run in the 4th inning. 2-1 delivery. Fouled away by Votto. Still a ways to go in this game, and we're coming off a 1-run loss last night. But certainly a sign of encouragement is the fact that here you are playing against a very good Cardinal team and back-to-back very good starting pitcher. And while you're still hoping for your quote-unquote big guys to get it going, i.e. Phillips and Votto especially, well, you're getting production from other guys in the batting room. Primarily Drew Stubbs. Ramon Hernandez, a couple of hits tonight. An RBI. Jay Bruce. Johnny Gomes, a huge factor in last night's game and again tonight.
First real wave of the year here at Great American Ballpark.
Two to Joey Votto. Hawksworth, an extended look in there. Now okays a sign with Yadier Molina. Phillips will run. Ball 4. Or is the scoreboard wrong? I beg your pardon. That is a stolen base for Phillips. Now it's 3-2. No, it is ball 4.
Yeah, Joey Votto had it wrong. Hey, he wants to hit. I don't want to walk. You ever playing a wiffle ball game where you do that? I'm not taking a walk. Oh, they probably pitch to you, though.
Rarely ever. Especially an incredible up on the UC tennis courts in Clifton. Very late at night. They're still looking for balls that I hit up there in Clifton. Saw one rolling down somewhere along the Ohio River a couple of years ago. Runners at first and second. So no stolen base for Phillips. That is a walk to Votto, and it's ball 1 to Scott Rowland.
Well, a nicely timed hit right here could really play for some big-time insurance runs. You know, no one would appreciate it more than the guy warming up in the Reds bullpen, Nick Massick. Make it just a little bit easier to nail down a hold.
A one-out hit by Brandon, a walk to Votto, and now Rowland, who doubled his last time up and scored. And a good hitter's count for Scotty here at 2-0. Brendan Ryan started to come in to, it appeared to have a few words to try and settle down Hawksworth, and Hawksworth never turned around to look at it. Now Brendan Ryan will come all the way in and have that conversation.
You know, sometimes that can kind of infuriate a pitcher. You know he means well, but what is a shortstop going to tell that guy about pitching other than throw the ball over the plate? What do you think I'm trying to do?
Three and 1 to Rowland. Now Scotty looking for something to jump on here and add to this 2-run lead in the bottom of the 7th inning. 3 balls and a strike with 2 on and 1 out. Ball 4 and they're loaded. Well, Dennis Reyes has been up during the entire inning, and Tony La Russa wants him to face Jay Bruce. This will be our skyline out of the bullpen. The Reds have them loaded for Jay Bruce, leading the Cardinals in the 7th.
You would know. And I would know about Dennis Reyes. He's a left-handed pitcher. And you talk about a specialist. How about 18 appearances now? He has not even pitched 10 innings yet. Tony La Russa hopes to get that third of an inning or two-thirds of an inning out of him. But his main guy right now is to get Jay Bruce with the bases loaded.
Only one out in the inning. Fastball to knees, strike one to Jay. Bruce has singled to lead off the second, scored the first Reds run, walked in the fourth, was thrown out stealing, and then struck out in the sixth. Bouncing ball here, trouble. There's one, and that's a double play. So Reyes does his job. That's what they pay him for. We march on to the eighth. Still close. 4-2 Reds. And your dog can be part of the first of two Reds Bark in the Park events this year. Visit Reds.com/Dog Day. Reds lead 4-2 at the end of 7. Taking over on the mound, right-hander Nick Massett. Saw Massett in the game last night. Faced Holiday, Freeze, and Molina. Got a strikeout, walked Molina, and then picked Molina off to end the inning. And he is going through not the heart, the very teeth of this Cardinal batting order. Ryan Ludwig, Albert Pujols, and Matt Holliday. There's a fastball that runs in on Ludwig. That is the third time by Ludwig in 4 at-bats tonight that he has swung at the first pitch. The only at-bat he didn't, he doubled.
Cardinals version of Johnny Gomes. He's up there to do some damage early in the count, especially at first pitch fastball, and he figured he would get one from Massett.
Mike Leake to front 6, allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, struck out 5, walked 3, 1 intentionally. Arthur Rhodes a perfect inning. And now it's Massett trying to get the ball to Francisco Cordero. .95-mile-per-hour fastball to strike 2 to Ludwig.
Yeah, on the knees, on the black. Good luck on that one.
See you later.
And it looked like he threw him every pitch that he has out there. Fastball, slider, and then a splitter right there. That ball kind of comes in there like a screwball, the way it reacts. Ludwig didn't know what to think of it.
Now Albert Pujols. Reds leading by 2, 1 out in the 8th inning, and there's strike 1.
Yeah, you just go right after this guy right here. If he hits a home run, you still have a lead.
May remember when the Reds were in St. Louis and Massett came in and got a big double play ball and was pumping his fist going back to the Reds dugout. Pujols apparently didn't like it much after the game. Wasn't a major ordeal, but certainly Pujols made the comment after the game. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Massett against Pujols. Nick trying to put him away on this 1-2 pitch. Did he go? It looked like he did. Very few umpires are going to ring up Pujols. You be the judge. Most guys are getting rung up on that. Joe West hearing it from the Reds dugout. And then the home plate umpire rings him up on the next pitch. Crowd going to give it to Pujols a little bit. Boy, it's nice to see this kind of crowd in this ballpark. Been a long time coming.
Well, another splitter, and it comes in there like a screwball. It starts outside and cuts right in there on him. Albert thought that was inside all the way. I think that's a splitter. I mean, it looks like maybe he's throwing a backup slider.
Well, that was 96 mile per hour gas on the first pitch to Holiday, and he swings through it. Oh, and 1 to Holiday, who's 0 for 2, has drawn a walk. Ground ball to third. How about Nick Massett? Right through Ludwig, Pujols, and Holiday. Reds come to bat in the bottom of the 8th, leading St. Louis 4-2.
that many, so big, strong guy. Might be ready for a little work on Sunday, too.
Cardinals bring on their fourth pitcher tonight following Adam Wainwright, Blake Hawksworth, and Dennis Reyes, his right-hander Jason Mott.
He's pitched 4 times against the Reds. Mott has. First couple of series in the beginning of the year, gave up runs in his first 2 series against the Reds, and he's also given up runs in his last 3 games out. He can get it up there in a hurry. A converted catcher. You see real short, quick arm action on him. Just the kind of guy Johnny Gomes likes to go up there looking fastball on.
97-mile-per-hour fastball in there, strike 1-1 to go.
Turn it up a notch.
Johnny 3 hits last night. A pair of singles, a double, stole a base, scored 2 runs. And here tonight, robbed of a hit on an outstanding play made by Freese back in the 2nd inning. With the Reds trailing 2-1, he blasted a game-tying home run to the 2nd deck in left field in the 4th inning. And then with a runner at 2nd and 2 men out, after Wainwright fell behind him 2-0, they intentionally walked Gomes and decided to test Drew Stubbs. And that was the biggest at-bat of the night. A tie-breaking 2-run triple into right center field by Stubbs, thus the current 4-2 lead. Gomes will come out of his shoes on a fastball in the strike zone here, 3-2. Holy Moses. We've watched Johnny Gomes for 1.5 years.
I don't think I've ever seen that of you.
And I think he's shaking his head because I don't think he's seen it either. Is that a situation where he has to be, I mean, just strict yes there, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Man, those are the fastballs that Johnny Gomes loves. Strike 1 to Drew Stubbs. I tell you, there are a lot of things you can bet on. I would have lost a lot of money on that.
It's a good thing you've learned your lesson from others and don't bet on baseball.
You better believe it. Mott is rushing it up there. He's going 97, 100, 99. That one at 98. All that stuff's fine and dandy when you're getting them out. But as you just said, lately, he ain't getting them out.
Well, he pitched against the Astros his last time out. Pitched an inning, gave up 2 runs, including a couple of homers. Gave up runs his 2 previous outings against the Pirates and then the Phillies. If he throws 98, you may have to swing 99.
And so far, that's not been a story for Gomes or Stubbs. He has struck them both out. Ball 1 to Ramon Hernandez. A perfect night for Ramon. RBI single to left in the 2nd inning. Double to left center in the 5th. Drew a walk in the 6th. Hernandez has that batting average now up over 300. A liner caught by Schumacher to end the 8th. Here we go in the 9th. Cordero will come on to try and nail it down. Freese, Molina, Schumacher due up for St. big-time games.
You know, the home runs are one thing, but that last hit that we showed you, that double in the right center field gap off a slider on the outside part of the plate, that shows me that he's making an adjustment now. He's keeping his front shoulder in there, his head in there, and he's going to be fine.
A couple of changes for the Reds. A new left fielder replacing Johnny Gomes, a rookie Chris Heisey. And taking over on the mound, trying to nail it down for Mike Leake. Francisco Cordero, 11 of 13 so far in saved chances. 10 straight Cardinals have been retired by Reds pitching. That's a trio of Leake, Rhodes, and Massey. The last Cardinal hit was a double with 2 outs in the 5th inning by Ryan Ludwig.
Well, as often is the case, the setup guy did the heavy lifting, and Massey going right through, as you said, the teeth of the order. Ludwig, Pujols, and Holiday, and you work down the order. Not quite as dangerous, but still in all, you've got to throw strikes.
And that has been a problem at times so far this season for Cordero. Throwing strikes. Falls behind 2-0, comes back with a strike. Freeze 1 of 3, doubled and scored the first Cardinal run back in the 2nd inning. Strike 2. Mike Leake, the front 6, allowed 4 hits, 2 runs. Rhodes, a perfect inning with a strikeout. Massett, a perfect inning with a pair of strikeouts. And there's a base hit by Freeze to open the Cardinal 9th. So the tying run will come to the plate. That guy's a good-looking young hitter, man.
He really is. He's got a nice level swing. He had a double earlier on a ball that he was kind of fooled on from Mike Leake. Hit it down the left field line on a nice little curveball. That time he took a fastball right back through the box. Good double play possibility here.
Yadier Molina's 0 for 3. Looks at a strike. He's grounded to third. Struck out swinging twice. All of his at-bats came against Mike Leake. And now the double play is taken away.
Not a good play by Ramon Hernandez there. He just tried to backhand that ball. To keep that double play in order, you have to keep him at first base. Got to slide your body over there a little bit. Now they're going to get together to make sure they know what sign is active with the runner on second base. Looks like he's trying to hit it to right.
We have Schumacher due up next in the 7 hole. And again, if you weren't with us earlier, the Cardinals batting the pitcher spot in the 9th inning, or in the 8th spot in the batting order, which will come up here in the 9th. And a roller foul. They have John Jay, a left-handed hitter, and right-handed batters Jason LaRue, Joe Mather, and Tyler Green on their bench. Cardinals figure to have Felipe Lopez back off the disabled list tomorrow. It would not be a surprise to see him at shortstop in a lineup for tomorrow's game. 1-2 to Molina. Better job of blocking that pitch that time by Hernandez.
I think a little better anticipation that time. Once you get one slider bounce in the dirt, it seems like that's the only place Cordero's thrown it. But you're ready for another. First one caught him by surprise.
Bouncing ball, handled by Cabrera. On the third goes Freeze, but there's 1 out in the Cardinal 9th. John Jay has moved into the on-deck circle, but right now it's Schumacher. Reds lead by 2 in the top of the 9th. Strike 1. Schumacher, a sac fly RBI to knock in the first run of the night for either team. That was in the 2nd inning. The Ascents grounded out to 2nd and struck out. Cordero ahead of him at 0-2. $41,326 here tonight. And the 0-2 on the way to Schumacher. Well inside. Well, last night I think a lot of people around here that work for the Reds had to be disappointed by that crowd of 27,000 plus. But tonight the Civil Rights game sold out. One more game to go in this series tomorrow. And the 1-2 is a foul ball. And again, plenty of tickets available for tomorrow. Will it be the rubber game of this 3-game series? The Outs have 2 more the Reds need to put it away with a 2-run lead here in the top of the 9th inning. Two and 2 on Schumacher. Base hit into center field. And the tying run is aboard. The go-ahead run comes to the plate. And now Orlando Cabrera going to come in and visit with Francisco Cordero.
Well, both of the Cardinals' hits in this inning both scalded right back through the middle. Little chuck and duck that time for Cordero.
Well, it goes without saying. I don't care if it's April, May, July, or September. This is the kind of game the Reds have to nail down here tonight.
No doubt.
I mean, you cannot let this game get away from you with a 2-run lead in the 9th inning. And now all of a sudden it's a 1-run game. Dusty knows that as well as anybody. Strike 1 to John Jay. Jay batting for Mott, who had a perfect inning with a pair of strikeouts. Very good numbers for Jay off the Cardinal bench. Strike 2. Two strikes to Jay, who has 18 at bats so far this year. You saw 10 as a pinch hitter. He does not have a home run, does not have an RBI. He has 1 extra base hit. That was a double. Two and 2. One in, 1 on, 1 out. A 1-run lead. We're in the 9th. And a 2-2 to Jay. Struck him out. Foul tipped into the mid of Hernandez.
And it's almost like Francisco Cordero's reached back and found himself another gear. I mean, that last pitch at 96. You know, they say about the one thing about closers is that when they get the adrenaline pumping in a tight closing situation, that's when they reach back and find their best stuff. Oftentimes these closers get beat around a little bit in non-save situations when they go out for a tune-up. He's got the adrenaline pumping right now.
Well, the Cardinals have announced a pinch hitter for Brendan Ryan. It'll be Joe Mather. middle infield of Cabrera and Phillips, along with the catcher Hernandez, out to talk with Cordero. And now Brian Price, the pitching coach, coming out to make sure that everybody's well aware of the scouting report on Joe Mather. Mather only 36 at-bats the entire year. Without a home run, has 2 runs batted in. Mather very much has home run power. Not getting many at-bats with a big league club this year. And that ball is laced into left field. It'll go to the wall. Getting to it is Heisey. They're going to wave the runner. And here comes a throw by Cabrera. It's up the line. The tag. The game is over. The rookie Heisey to Cabrera. Hernandez, a beautiful athletic play at the plate. Playing it on one hop. Dives and makes the tag. And that's the way this game ends in a thrilling 4-3 win for the Reds. How about that?
That's a defensive version of a walk-off right there. Reds slapping some leather on him. They've won it in their last at-bat more than anybody else in the league. Here they throw the leather on him. A great relay. Oh, how about this by Cabrera? A pick by Ramon Hernandez and the tag in time. Wow, what a way to end the great day at the ballpark.
Well, what a great play by Hernandez here as well. Not very often you call a catcher athletic. That's an athletic play. You know that guy is 1 or 2 steps away. You're fielding the ball that you know is up the line. It's on a hop. You got to play it cleanly and then dive for the tag. Reds a half game back.